Hello, it is day 9, nearly double digits. It's day 9 of lockdown in the UK, and I'm doing these little update videos every day just to sort of document these weird times and to keep people company. So what we're going to talk about today. Lately, I've been going to bed later and later and later because who's going to stop me, right? And I've spent my daytime, working on stuff like this. So then when the evening does roll around, it's nice to watch films, play Animal Crossing, but it's been getting me to bed later and later. And I kind of threw the routine out the window that I'd built up. And honestly, I think that having a routine has been keeping me sane. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that things start to get worse once I'm not keeping myself to some structure, right? So this morning I set alarms for 7 o'clock in the morning. I got up and I did exercise and I was doing things. I'd exercised, had breakfast, had a coffee by 9 a.m. And that doesn't sound super impressive for a standard day, but it really felt like it helped. Like, I've actually felt very productive today, rather than, having a slow and easy morning and, kind of half-assing the exercise, playing Animal Crossing in bed, and then moseying into this studio room about, I don't know, 12. And it makes me realise how much difference having a proper routine is making to my day-to-day mental health. Just one day and I already feel better about it. But the difficulty is keeping yourself accountable, right? Because I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible at holding myself accountable because I know that there's no way for me to punish myself. And I'm kind of, in terms of my mental processing, I'm very hand to mouth, very short term, right? And that's really something I need to work on. This routine, this daily routine that I'm trying to have is very much it's evidence of that, right? And it's evidence of how much better I do feel when I'm actually proactive. And maybe, I should give myself a couple of slug days a week to chill out a bit. But I want to make the most of this time and I want to come out the other side having done something for myself, right? Like these videos, which are great. And I've had loads of fun doing it. It's been really, really good. And there have been other things as well that I've been doing to, just to give my day some structure, some activities and stuff. I've got, it sounds silly now, but just one small example, sourdough starter I've got in the fridge. And then, I'll take you and see that in a bit. We'll go downstairs and talk about it. But it's a really, really weird time. And I think that we can all sort of forgive ourselves a little bit for slipping up, right? There are bigger worries in the world than whether I get in the garden to do some exercise, but I know that the bigger picture will be easier for me to deal with if I am keeping myself well, and keeping myself well means keeping myself active, which helps you stay productive, it helps you stay clear-minded. I guess a bit of a ramble there, right? But I really do think that routine is important, and if you haven't given yourself one yet, I'd recommend it. I'm by no means a saint in this respect, I'm yet to consistently stick to it, but I know what the idea is. And the closest that and if I stick to it as good as I can, it helps. And so long as I have a basic idea of what my daily routine kind of should look like, then I know when I'm not doing it, right? And if I feel bad, or if I feel low, or if I feel low energy, I can think to myself, am I doing it? Am I being good about it? And lately the answer is normally no, right? Eating rubbish, staying up late, which has been nice in its own way because I get to chill out with Ben and everything, but it's, I know that if this is going to be something we're doing for the long haul, it's not a sensible option to be taking. But there's kind of no major updates in the news today. I'm filming this before, the UK has updated its stats on, numbers of people affected and stuff. So I guess let's go downstairs and feed that sourdough starter. It sounds like a good idea to me. It's something to talk about. It's a way I'm passing my time. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. So, as I was talking about upstairs, this is my sourdough starter. It smells as interesting as it looks. And basically, what sourdough starter does is it takes only flour and water, and you do sort of like a controlled fermentation on it by taking out some of it every day and giving it new flour and water. And then what it does is eventually it will sort of, it will produce yeast, and you can use it to rise bread without having to actually have yeast. And apparently, interestingly, that's how it used to be done before like commercially produced yeast was available. So this will live forever so long as every day you're giving it, you know, you're taking some out and putting some new flour and water in, which I just thought was really cool and would be a fun project. So you can see here, like, that is the last time I fed it, and that is how much it rose and then it fell by, the sort of mucky bit there. And then what I'm going to do now is give it another feed and try and keep a good eye on it, because I want to know the time that it hits this peak so that I can measure how long, because you're supposed to bake bread with it when it's up at its peak. So I want to find out how long from a feed to its peak it takes, so that then I can keep a good eye on it and know when I need to feed it if I want to do some baking. So yeah, I'm going to do that now. So I've just filmed a whole video on this as well, so you can get a better idea of the process of how I feed the starter. But just on account of this vlog, there's it all done. You know, I've taken out some of the old, put in some of the new. You can see it looks a little bit smoother. And what I do like to do as well is I will clean the outside of this jar, because, like, you know, my mucky fingers have got it all dirty. So just for aesthetic reasons, having it on the shelf, I do like the outside of the jar to be clean. But it's very difficult for the jar to be clean, especially when you're putting, you know, it's rising up the sides every day and stuff like that. So try not to stress too much. It's gonna look rough, it's gonna look messy, and that's the fun of it, right? So I will get the lid on this, and hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you tomorrow.